All right, I'm going to talk through just some simple basics of using masks in After Effects. And masks are really helpful, really powerful tools, allowing you to hide or reveal certain parts of your image. And when combined with multiple masks, can create some really impressive effects. So let's jump right in. I'm going to create a new composition. Default settings are fine. I'm going to go ahead and call this one Mask Demo. 10 seconds is fine. The background color, kind of this darker purple, is fine. We're really not going to make anything in this video, just more of a tour through the features. I am going to create a few new graphics, so I'm just going to create a couple of solids here. I will create a simple blue solid. I'm going to create a maybe 500 by 500, and then we'll make this one kind of a bright, a little too bright. Let's go something like that. Hit OK. I'll have that guy over there. And then I'm going to create a few more just so that I can have a few things to play with. So Control or Command D on that one to make another. And I'm just going to kind of offset it here just slightly. And I'm going to go into Composition, Layer, Solid Settings. And I'm going to make that one just, let's get something, yeah, it's nice. Something kind of a golden sunflower color there. On each layer, and this goes for graphics, can be applied to videos, and of course solids. Really any graphic can have a mask applied to it for the most part. And we can create those masks in a couple of different ways. So I'm going to start by working on, looks like it's called Blue 2 layer, so let's go yellow. There we go. I'm going to work on this yellow one for just a moment. And I'm going to create a mask, which is probably the easiest way to create one is just to grab the shape or rectangle tool. And with your layer selected, you can just click and drag over the layer to draw out a new mask. Now, the mask boundary is going to be defined by that yellow kind of bounding box currently. And that can be changed, of course, but it starts just kind of with that same square shape. Now you can change what color your mask is simply by clicking this little colored swatch down below. So if it's too hard to track, being that it's yellow on yellow, we could make our mask something like white, and that kind of separates it from the mask from the shape itself. We can name our masks. You know, I don't really have anything more intelligent to call it, but we could name our masks different things if we wanted to help keep them identified in different ways. So that's the first way we could make a mask. I can delete that one quickly, just hitting the delete key, and everything goes back to normal. I can also use the pen tool, and it's important to remind you that you must have your layer selected when you create these masks if you want them to apply to those layers. So I have yellow selected. I can use the pen tool, and everything I do is just a line until I close it, and then it becomes an official mask. Yeah, so you can create one with the shape tool or the pen tool. If you don't have a layer selected and you use either one of these tools, it is going to create shape layers, which are quite different. They are their own layer in your composition. They have very different, very interesting and awesome properties, but they are not masks, and they're not going to be treated in the same way. So you have to make sure you select your layer first, and then you can use either the shape tool, of which there's a few different varieties, or the pen tool to create your mask. So I'm going to delete that mask one real quick, and I'm going to just kind of replace that initial mask that I had just a moment ago. I'm going to open up the masks header here, this category, and talk about a few of the different options we have with basic mask features. To begin with, we have some different processing modes for the mask. With the none mode, it will basically turn your mask off. It'll still be there, but it'll basically not perform any of the clipping operations. Add is the default setting, meaning that it is going to add whatever is included in the mask to your scene. So in this case, we're seeing that sliver of the kind of golden square still present in our scene with the add parameter applied. Subtract is going to, in a very self-explanatory way, subtract whatever's in the mask from your scene. So now we see what's left of that other mask. Intersect is only going to work if you have two masks. So I'm going to create another one real quick right here, and I can see that I have mask 2 present. If I change this one to intersect, it is going to grab whatever's in the middle of those two masks. Now, why is this even remotely cool or important? Well, I don't know. Maybe as these two pan over one another, it can create some really nice kaleidoscopic effects. I admit I don't use the intersect option very often, but that is kind of what it's there for and what it can offer. Then we have lighten, darken, and difference, and these are kind of mask parameters that deal with like kind of the color balance between different layers and different masks. So I would say the add, subtract, and intersect are the ones we're going to kind of focus on in this intro class. I'm going to leave this set on add, and I'm going to click this inverted toggle, and you'll just notice that whatever the feature is, it's going to grab the inverse of it. So between add and subtract, it will, almost toggle between those two. And the only reason you might need that is through some complicated, say some like intersect operations. Perhaps you want, those two different masks or those two different shapes to exclude versus include. You can use that inverted toggle. It's nice to have there. The next 4 options are all animatable properties that manipulate how the mask is processed. So the mask path 1 is the one you'll want to use if you do indeed want to animate the path of your mask. So this means if you want your mask to move over time or do anything kind of fun or wipe from left to right, do a radial wipe, this is the feature for you. So you can manipulate your mask path simply by grabbing these points, moving them around your composition. And as long as your stopwatch is clicked, you'll be in good shape. Some tips on selecting your mask without pulling out your hair include deselecting everything by clicking anywhere in like the open area of your composition, and then clicking one of the points at a time if you want to select something. Otherwise, you'll become very frustrated intending to move just one point, but accidentally grabbing multiple points at once. It can be frustrating very quickly. So I usually, before grabbing anything, I'll click and deselect it all, then click on one of the vertices to make sure I grab the one I want. You can shift or control click multiple vertices. So if you want to move these all at once, a little shift click will help you grab more than one. And beyond that, it should kind of make sense to you and should move forward as you would expect. So I'm going to just quickly delete that second keyframe because I don't want this one to go too crazy with these next few features. I'm going to turn off that stopwatch. Mask Feather blends the edges of your mask. So if you want a really soft edge to your mask, you can get that effect very quickly just by increasing the mask feather. It's going to start default locked in terms of its ratio, but you can turn that off so that way you can feather just on one axis versus another. Get some really nice looking effects there. It looks like I'm trying to make a Microsoft Word logo from like the 80s right now. So at any rate, have fun with feathering. I find that feathering is actually, let's undo that. Feathering is actually really helpful if you want to kind of give, illusion of, shadow or light or anything else with an additional mask or solid. The feathering helps create more believable effects. So I recommend playing around with this feature as you need to. Mask opacity will take the mask from an opaque to not opaque version. This is a little bit, it might seem unusual since you can change the opacity of your layers separately. But as I always mention, there's multiple ways to get the same result in After Effects. And this is just one way where you can get the appearance of a transparent or translucent object by using mask opacity on this one. I'll leave that at 100 for now. Last, we'll mess with mask expansion. I like this one quite a lot, but I am going to turn my mask feather down to 0 on both axes to make sure you understand how this works. Now, mask expansion is going to add or subtract pixels to the edge of my mask. So if I change this to a value of 10, you'll notice that my mask extends beyond its boundary by 10 pixels. So 100 will make it expand accordingly. Contracting it by doing a negative value will make my mask, in a way, kind of contort and contract within that mask boundary. This is kind of fun if you want to create like the illusion of a kind of a barn wipe, or in some way kind of expand from the center of an object. You can kind of use this for those results. So there you have it. There's some mask basics in After Effects. And in the next video, we'll kind of play around with some other kind